welcome to Trailer Talk with Tyrus, and today we're breaking down the second trailer for the Shazam movie. And I gotta tell you, I am super excited. Now, there's something that you guys need to know. Some of you may be casual comic book fans, but Shazam originally was called Captain Marvel. That's right, he's the OG Captain Marvel. Unfortunately, due to copyright laws, and there's a long history about this, and I'm not going to explain it in this video, he's now called Shazam. And to be honest, when looking at the trailers for both of those movies, both Shazam and Marvel's Captain Marvel, I honestly really wasn't all that impressed. I wasn't very excited to see either. Personally, because although I like Captain Marvel, I always saw him as basically a ripoff of Superman. Now, what's great about that, and this movie seems to be playing this up, is that Captain Marvel, Shazam rather, in order to avoid confusion if you're watching this video, Shazam grows up in a universe where Superman and Batman exist, just like in the comics. And so his idea of what a superhero is to be is from watching them in the news and in the media and all of that. And so what we're going to get to see is a little bit of a parody of what a superhero actually is. And what I love about this trailer is that Zachary Levi, what a great actor, he looks like he's having so much fun. And him and the kid actor, who are playing the same person essentially, you could see that they took time to get to know each other's mannerisms and stuff. I really think that a lot of detail went into them acting like they are actually the same person. Because remember, Zachary Levi is playing the adult version of this little boy who, when he says the magic word Shazam, becomes a superhero. And there's a lot of really cool stuff in this trailer that I liked. I'm very optimistic about it. First of all, as someone who was born in Philadelphia, it was nice to see my city up on the big screen. It looks absolutely beautiful. And if you haven't noticed, that guy from the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy who says "who" to Star-Lord when he says his name is actually the magician Shazam, who is able to give Billy Batson his powers. So I thought that was really interesting how we have people from Marvel coming over to DC, and I think that that's great when actors don't feel like they have to lock into one particular comic book franchise. I love Marvel and DC. Of course, I've always been more of a DC fan myself, and I think that the Shazam movie has a lot of potential to do something really, really fun. Like I said, it's seeing superheroes through the eyes of a child, and I think this movie is kind of going to feel a lot like Tom Hanks' Big, like what would happen if a child was in a man's body. And of course with superpowers, you know it's going to be so much fun. I love that they got Mark Strong to play the villain. First of all, Mark Strong plays basically a villain in absolutely everything, and I think that what's going to work for this movie is when they lean into the cheese factor and the relationship between Billy Batson and his foster brother. That relationship is really going to be the heart of the movie, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with that, because in the comic books, it's really cool to see Billy Batson's heart. The reason he was chosen is because there's something good inside of him that wants to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. And I think this is going to be a cool coming of age story. I really hope they lean into that. It's also just cool to see Captain Marvel up on the big screen. I just cannot believe that this movie is actually being made. I mean, Shazam has always been kind of popular, but never mainstream, and so this is really exciting for me as a DC comic book fan. What gets me excited about this movie is the potential, if Henry Cavill does return to play his role as Superman, is to see Superman and Captain Marvel, or I'm sorry, Shazam, duke it out. Ever since that episode of Justice League Unlimited that I saw as a kid, I have always been waiting for that moment to happen on the big screen. And maybe it'll actually happen. Who knows? Have this figurine of Batman in the trailer that says "I'm Batman," and it would be really cool if that was the voice actor who played Batman on the animated series so long ago. It'd be really cool to see that. So the music, my name is, the way it perfectly syncs up with the trailer. Someone really put a lot of time and effort into that. I'm really excited to see how exactly this movie's gonna come together, because you know DC's had a really rough track record, but Aquaman is really what turned it around. Even though Aquaman of course wasn't a perfect movie, it certainly was a fun one, and I really had a great time with it. I love the message of the film, I love the action scenes, I actually really enjoyed the story, and the fact that there were so many Easter eggs for comic book fans in that movie. I think it might be my second favorite DC film, in the DCEU that is, not counting the stuff that came before Man of Steel. But there really seems to be a course correction of leaning into the fact that these are comic book characters. They have a bit of cheese to to them, and that it's okay to be a little cheesy and still have that serious tone. I like that DC is starting to realize, okay, this is what worked and this is what didn't work, and we can course correct. I love that we can always learn from our mistakes. That's always great. And with DC, I really think they have a great chance to redeem themselves with these new line of movies. I'm excited because I heard some stuff about the Flash movie. I don't know how that's going to correlate into this, but it feels like I'm talking about a lot of different things instead of the trailer. My favorite part of the trailer is basically when he says superheroes leap tall buildings in a single bound, which is obviously a nod to Superman, and then Billy tries that. And I think what's really going to work with this movie is we see that when you look up to somebody and you try to be somebody else, ultimately you end up failing because you weren't created to be somebody else. He was created to be uniquely Shazam. And that's what I love about the jokes of this. It's all about trying to be something that you're not. Billy Batson in this movie, I believe, has to accept who he truly is, and we're gonna have a really great time at the cinema. Again, I don't think this is gonna be a masterpiece, but it's certainly gonna be a fun movie for you to take your family to and a couple of your comic book loving friends. I really am excited for Shazam. That's all I have to say. Just tell me what you think about the trailer. Leave it in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. This has been Tyrus. God bless and catch you next time.